Hi, I'm Alex. I do tool reviews, tips, and how-to videos. Today we're in historic Bucks County, PA, looking at this beautiful log cabin. It was part of the Swedish settlement to America. The house is very old, but it's only had a couple owners. Unfortunately, this tree, a limb came down, clobbered the house. We got new rafter beams made out of cedar. It also took out this slate that used to be on the chimney. It used to be a chimney cap. It busted up some of the lath boards on the wood shake. Really did a number on it, but I'll tell you, I'm surprised. This old house really took it well. At the very end of the video, you'll see a image of the initial brunt of it. But yeah, I think the house fared well. We're going to be putting it back together the best we can.
Alright, the bottom board is a 1x10, and it is
Yeah, the facial.
yeah. Well, the bottom wood shake board is a 1x10 for some reason.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be, but it is.
Yep. That's what they used. Yeah, this old dog's not bad.
Looks like they tried to do 10-inch exposure.
The house is in preserve. They're trying to keep it as historically accurate as possible. I really appreciate these hand-hewn rafters. They're just fantastic. Unfortunately, due to years of roof leaks and the tree damage, it really did a number on it. So we're going to be replacing 3 of the rafters. The lap boards, I don't know how old this wood shake is, but I estimate it's about 10 years old. It's a really thick, medium or large butt. Actually, these are called wood shingles when they're smooth. But there's no pesticides or any treatment in it. And the nails, they really grabbed really hard on the lats. But the nail heads were a pain in the butt. They kept popping off. So whenever you do any kind of roof repair, you want to remove as many nails as possible. Even though we didn't know it until after we tore off all the wood shake, how bad the situation was with the rafters. It's just a good practice to do. You don't want to go putting a roof on or nailing them back in. It was a real pain in the butt. We did lay out a tarp to minimize the cleanup. Right here, I'm removing the obviously broken, damaged rafter. Since we're replacing all the lap boards, I'm just cutting right through them. I'm cutting them out of my way to give me access to this rafter. It does have a mortise and tenon joinery, which is fantastic. As much as I would love to put it back the way I found it, I do believe that some of the old craftsmen, if they had the technology that we have today, they would have used it. This was the best that they had at the time that they had it. Mortise and tenon. I ended up cutting it out to relieve it. I braced up the other rafter, temporary, since it doesn't have a traditional ridge to it per se. And yeah, I whacked it out. I'm going to be putting my new rafter in and using 6-inch deck screws. They're primarily used for flat roofs to go through metal decking, but they're a really thick shank with a big wide head. So I knew no matter what, 6 inches of penetration on a 3.5-inch cedar board, it's definitely gonna get some bite in there, and I'll tell you, bite it did. My poor impact drill really struggled driving into that hard wood. Sometimes these hard beams and stuff like that, you're fine. They're almost petrified. It's like driving a nail into a rock. Or if you ever worked with Spanish cedars, very hard and dense wood. Obviously, this isn't Spanish cedar. I'm just saying, in my experience, there's some woods that are so hard. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of nail you drive into it. You almost have to pre-drill it, you know? Otherwise, you'd just be bending nails and whacking at it like an animal. So, I carefully whack this, I carefully remove the rafter. Keep it intact as possible. I would love to reuse some of this lumber, even though it's been painted white.
Nice skylight.
It's still beautiful in my eyes, and obviously, since I made this video, I got really good provenance of its historic significance. So yeah, there you have it. I will be running this rafter higher than the ridge, since I have that luxury of that. And then I use my my T-square to get an angle of the floor joist. Luckily, there's a big wide floor joist right under there to anchor into. Unfortunately, since this is the damaged area, I did have to repair some of the floorboards. They had a lot of lumber left behind. It's really thick stuff. I believe it's 1 inch thick. I do have rough cut hemlock I usually use for situations like that, but I thought this would be appropriate to fill it in. I like doing this method. It's simple. You know, keeps the math out of the equation. Excuse me. Get my gauge, cut it, obviously, because it's too thick to cut straight through. I have to cut it, carefully mark it with my speed square, and then finish off the cut. Once I get the floor joist angle, I'm going to take it up to the ridge, line up my T-square or straight edge, anything you want to use with the lap boards, and then cut it off, and I'll have a perfect fit. This roof, the rafters, I don't know if you could see in the videos, in the image, they're in pretty rough shape. A lot of them been rotted off. They put 3/4 inch wood under there to try to pack it and fill it in. So there was a pretty bad sag in the roof. We're not going to be able to correct all of that, but I'd like to correct some of it while I got it open. A good wood shake roof should last 25-30 years. So, especially with a thick wood shake shingle like we're installing, should last a long time. So, hopefully it'll be a long time before these rafters are exposed to a new roof. With old buildings like that, you'll get dips and sags, but since we're replacing 2 in a row, then we're going to skip one, and the 4th one we're going to replace because it's really in bad shape. So we run our straight line across it. I'm trying to get it as close as possible, and a really low one, we're just going to pack it out with lap boards. So okay, here's the fruits of our labor. It's been a long day. We're kind of packing it up. You can get a good image of how bad those rafter ends are. The one on the left here that you're looking at, on the left hand side, that one is shot. It's been sistered. It's in bad shape. We're going to be replacing that. The one, here goes the image of it banged up. And man, is it a beautiful house. I will be continuing this later, but that'll be it for today. Stay tuned, like and subscribe.